We had such a fun discussion in our class yesterday about the answer to this question, why is the ice on Earth melting? And we recorded the responses to our discussion in each of my five classes, and I thought you guys might be interested to see what other classes thought about the answer to this question. So if you look at this from period one, they talk about gases in the atmosphere, pollution, but if you look at it more closely, some of the things that they listed for pollution, like rocket fuel and cars, that's really about gases as well, because those gases get put out into the atmosphere. Then there's this global warming, more mention of gases. And then there's a mention here about energy from the sun is increasing, and there were three different groups that thought that, and something about the surface becoming less reflective. Period two had a rich discussion, but we didn't write as many things down, but they had just as many amazing things to say. And you can, if you look at here, sorry, if you look at period two's responses, you see you have some of the same things that period one said about gases increasing, more energy from the sun, and also this new idea of more energy actually being absorbed by the earth. In period three, we had, again, there's the manufacturing pollution from factories, methane. We talked about car farts, which was a lot of fun. Smoke, all of these things are gases that are added to the atmosphere. This first one just talks about how areas that didn't used to be warm, that used to have cold temperatures, are now warming. There's a couple more repeats about energy being absorbed by the earth, more energy from the sun. Again, multiple groups thought that. More carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. In period four, we had lots of students that thought it was about pollution from cars and factories. This was unusual. Period four was the only one that said this, so kudos to whoever mentioned this. The currents in the water are heating the air, and the air temperature is changing. So it was just talking about some of the things that we did in the last unit. Again, animal farts, which is always fun because farts are funny. The sun being closer, giving more energy. This was also a really fun one. They mentioned prevailing winds, which would then cause ocean currents to be moving much faster, which could be getting hotter water to the poles than before. Greenhouse gases, again, atmospheric gases. Ice not reflecting, so there was another group that had mentioned something about reflectivity of the Earth's surface, and then carbon dioxide, which again is one of the atmospheric gases. And then finally, my last class had exactly similar ideas, and I just think that it's really cool when you see the responses from 150 sixth graders that over and over again we were seeing a lot of the same responses about gases in the atmosphere changing, more sunlight from the sun, the reflectivity. Again, almost every class brought up pollution. And we reflected in most of the classes about how the pollution here we're talking about is gases, not like a piece of trash on the floor. Like a piece of rolled up newspaper sitting in a park would be annoying and difficult perhaps for the ecosystem, but it wouldn't cause pollution in the atmosphere. So when we come back to the question that we had at the beginning, why is the ice on Earth melting? We kind of end up with these two claims, and I mentioned this in the classes yesterday briefly at the end, but I wanted to make sure that we had enough time today to really think about how these two claims are really either increased energy from the sun, so the sun's brighter, it's stronger or closer, or changes to Earth's atmosphere. This could be pollution. Two of my classes mentioned the ozone hole. A lot of students mentioned carbon dioxide, methane, greenhouse gases, cars and factories, farts from farm animals. All of those things are changes to Earth's atmosphere. So today we're going to spend some time investigating this question. What kinds of changes to the atmosphere could affect how much energy is absorbed by Earth's surface? And as we're investigating this, let's take a look at this claim, which a change to any gas in the atmosphere affects energy absorbed by the surface in the same way. So we're going to look at that claim and decide whether or not we think that there's evidence from the sim to support that claim, or if there's not evidence from the sim to support that claim. Some people think that all gases in the atmosphere work the same. You know, after all, they're invisible. They're all invisible. So today, as you run your tests, consider whether the evidence you find supports or refutes this claim. Okay, so below this video, you'll see a series of directions on how to open the sim, what you should do, and where you should record your data. Good luck. And if you have any questions, please ask me. I'm ready to help.